Welcome back to the news today. Well, David Gerbi is a Libyan Jew who fled to Rome in 1967. More than 40 years later, in 2011, he returned to his birth country and used the sledgehammer to enter Tripoli's main synagogue, which had been shuttered. But 5 years after the beginning of the Libyan civil war, Gerbi is still struggling to protect the 2,000-year heritage of Libya's Jewish community. Daniel Campos has the story.
In 2011, his name became the Rebel Jew when he entered Tripoli embedded with Amazigh rebels who opposed Libyan dictator Muammar Gaddafi. David Gerbi was 12 years old when he fled Tripoli with his family in 1967, when the Arab-Israeli war sparked anger and rioting against Libya's 7,000 remaining Jews. He managed to return to Libya only in 2002 to negotiate the immigration of his aunt Rina Debach, believed dead by her family in Rome since she was still living in a nursing home in the country. Once she left for Rome in 2003, there were no more Jews in the country. Gerbi met with Gaddafi when the Libyan leader visited Rome in 2009. Their conversation centered around reparations to the Jewish community. Many believe the negotiations were initiated by his now imprisoned son, Saif al-Islam Gaddafi, who was considered the likely successor of his father. When Libya's civil war erupted in 2011, the exiled Libyan Jewish psychologist volunteered at the Benghazi Psychiatric Hospital working with PTSD patients. And he broke down the walls, sealing the Dar Bishi synagogue in Tripoli, with the goal of praying inside and of encouraging the restoration of Libya's Jewish heritage. In Libya, protests and threats by armed militiamen forced him out of the country, and he fled Libya escorted by the Italian Air Force. Ever since, Gerbi has dedicated himself to continuing his work of coexistence via social media. 5 years have elapsed since the outbreak of the Libyan civil war, which led to the ousting and execution of General Muammar Gaddafi. A lot has happened in Libya since Gerbi's last visit. Ongoing outbreaks of violence continue between different militant factions in Libya, the rise of ISIS, and the mass executions, and most recently the creation of a UN-backed unity government, which was rejected by Libya's internationally recognized parliament based in Tobruk and rival authorities based in Tripoli. Many international commentators and analysts are calling Libya a failed state. David Gerbi continues to hope and wish for the day Libya will have an inclusive government in which all minority groups are represented, including Jews.
Yes, and now the protagonist of the story we just saw, representative for World Organization of Libyan Jewry, David Gerbi, joins me in studio tonight. Good evening, Mr. Gerbi.
Good evening.
Well, it's an incredible story. The first thing I want to ask you, and there are many, many questions, is Libya is, of course, one of the most volatile countries in the world. This was also the case before the civil war erupted. When you went back there and you entered the synagogue, weren't you afraid of what might happen?
I had something inside myself. I call it the faith in God. And I felt that it was like an important moment of my life, that I had the permission to clean the synagogue because it was the Rosh Hashanah and Kippur. I was part of the parliament of the Transitional National Council. I spoke with them, Mustafa Abdul Jalil. I met with them. I went there, say, okay, now you wait until we accept. And they say, I need to pray. Can I go to the synagogue? They say, yes, go. But then I say, there is a wall and there is all the garbage because Gaddafi transformed it in a garbage place. Then I say, okay, clean it. And they say, but how can I take the garbage out? They say, okay, kasal khayt, break the wall. Then I say, okay, I break the wall. So I buy everything to break the wall and to clean it. So I started. I didn't think it was a big deal because it was something they agree. And then they told me, look, you show by doing this the new Libya, that we accept all religion. So it's good. And somebody told me, we're going to make a good marketing of you. This is what they told me.
And yet, despite this tremendous faith that you had and them initially agreeing to you entering the synagogue, still protests later broke out. How did that feel for you when the tides turned?
Yeah, it's happened when I was there, and I had this Star of David with me, that I keep it all the time with me. And they had also the Amazigh flag with me because I wanted to protect also all the minority. Then they told me you will know, everybody will know about you. Somebody, because I was cleaning the synagogue, and the neighbor, they were very happy. They say, and the imam came there and say, oh, you are helping, you're giving work to them, because I was paying them. And then say, I'm very happy. They say, oh, can you restore maybe the old Kadima, Medina al-Kadima, all the Jewish area? I say, I'm happy, just let's start with this. So everybody was really happy. And the Mustafa al-Khun, that he was part of the parliament, he said to me, look, you clean the synagogue, I come and help you as a symbolic act. And then when I need to clean the mosque, you come and help me. I say, perfect, I'm really happy. This is what I'm looking, that we can have all the religion together. Because when I grow up, in the school, I was study Italian, Arabic in the morning, and the Hebrew, the Talmud Torah in the afternoon. And the Torah, they say Abraham come from the three religion. And I remember as a child that in the morning, I could hear the muazzin, Allahu Akbar, and then the bell of the cathedral, and then my father pray in the synagogue. So for me, it was natural to have the three languages and the three religion. So for me, it was natural to go there. But when I went inside and I saw the name of God, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, something inside of me, I knew that it was danger. But as Ben Gurion say, who doesn't believe in miracle is not realistic. And they did it, and it came out all this. Many people against me, and they thought the narrative was Jewish came, big people of Jewish, a big community came, and then Israeli came to invade Tripoli. This is all happened.
Speaking of those fears, as far as we know, there are no more Jews in Libya. Talk to me about why it's important to you to protect this heritage anyway.
Because I think the Libyan Jewish history, as any history, the Libyan Jewish history is part of the Libya history. It's more than 2,000, almost 2,500 years of history that Gaddafi tried to delete this history. He tried to delete also the history of the Amazigh. He suffered because even the language, the culture, and the education, he didn't want to put on them. Even the name he wanted to delete. So for me, it was a rich country is the one that include the diversity. It doesn't eliminate the diversity. So for me, it's important the legacy of the Jewish that will stay forever, that they will know that it was, once upon a time, it was a Jewish people, and it will be important to make a monument and to write also the Muslim that helped the Jew to escape. Because also this happened. We don't need to see just the persecutor. We need to see also the good Muslim that they were on our side. But normally the world like to polarize.
Well, speaking of polarizing and of past history, you met with Gaddafi, as we saw in the story. What did he have to say about this issue of reparations?
I met him because when I was in 2002, I discovered my aunt, as we saw. So the issue was that he asked me to help to normalize the relationship with America and with the international community because of the terrorist attack on the Panama in 1988. So then the exchange was, I give your aunt out because he destroyed the cemetery. My aunt was very old. She wanted to be buried in a Jewish cemetery, and he destroyed the Jewish cemetery. He built there Burj al-Fatah. Then the agreement was, you help me to find someone, and then you can get your aunt out of Libya. And then we normalize the relationship, and also you can repair the synagogue, and we start again. And I went also to teach in the psychiatry hospital in Benghazi, start a reparation. At that time, Musa Kusa, the head of the national security, he told me, we start with American international community, and then possibly also with Israel. And I told this to Moshe Katsav. When I came here, I brought this history over there.
Yes.
Then I start all the journey. I went to America. The chief rabbi is Elliot Oaf. He sent me to Elie Wiesel. And through Elie Wiesel, I arrived to Washington, to the congressman. Then the congressman, Tom Lantos, came and made the reparation with Gaddafi.
What an unbelievable life story. There's so much more I want to ask you, but thank you for being with me tonight and giving us just a taste of this amazing story. David Gerbi, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for